Hi, girlies! Welcome to Becoming Her, the podcast where every episode brings you one step closer to becoming the woman you've always dreamed of being. Whether you're here because you're trying to build confidence, create better habits, or simply become the best version of yourself, I'm so happy you're here. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Can I ask you something? And I really want you to answer this, honestly. Even if it's just in your head. Have you ever looked at another woman, maybe while scrolling through Instagram, maybe at school, at work, or even just walking down the street, and I wish I had her confidence. I wish I had her discipline. I wish I knew exactly what I wanted in life. Come on, I think we've all been there. You see someone who seems like she has everything figured out. She wakes up early, she takes care of herself, she works out, she eats well, she dresses beautifully, she has goals, she seems calm, confident, elegant, like she knows exactly who she is. And then, without even realizing it, you start comparing. You look at her life, then you look at yours, and suddenly the little voice in your head starts whispering, maybe I'm just not that kind of person. Maybe she's different. Maybe she was born like that. Maybe she has more money, more opportunities, more time. Maybe you've even caught yourself thinking that's easy for her. But today, I want to challenge every single one of those thoughts. Because I genuinely believe one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is believing that the woman we admire woke up one morning and magically became the woman. They didn't. And honestly, neither will we. Let's be honest for a second. Wouldn't it be amazing if one morning we just woke up, completely transformed? Imagine opening your eyes tomorrow and suddenly you're confident, disciplined, organized, healthy, productive. You never procrastinate yourself, you never doubt yourself, you always know exactly what to say. Sounds nice. I wish it worked like that too. But life doesn't work that way. Nobody wakes up one morning with their entire life together. Nobody suddenly became disciplined overnight. Nobody suddenly loves themselves after years of self-doubt. Transformation isn't loud. It doesn't usually happen in one huge life-changing moment. It happens quietly, in moments that seem almost too small to matter. The moments no one posts online. The moments nobody applauds. The decision to get out of bed when your alarm rings instead of pressing snooze. The decision to drink water instead of a non-soda. The decision to read one page instead of scrolling for another 30 minutes. The decision to speak kindly to yourself after making a mistake instead of tearing yourself apart. Those moments don't feel extraordinary. In fact, most of them feel completely ordinary. And that's exactly why people underestimate them. Because they don't realize our lives aren't built by your decision. They are built by thousands of tiny ones. You know what I find fascinating? Nobody becomes confident in a single day. Nobody becomes disciplined in 1 week. Nobody builds an incredible life because of one perfect decision. It's the small things, repeated over and over and over again. Think about learning to walk. You didn't wake up one morning and suddenly start running. You failed again and again and again, but eventually, without even realizing it, walking became part of who you were. Growing into the woman you dream of becoming works exactly the same way. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming a little better than yesterday. One decision at a time, one promise at a time, one day at a time. And I think that's beautiful because it means you don't have to change your whole life today. You just have to choose your next step. Let me tell you a little story, okay? Actually, it's about two women. And before I even start, I have a feeling you might recognize yourself in one of them. Both women have big dreams. They both want to become healthier, more confident, more disciplined. They both want a life they're proud of. They both imagine a future where they wake up excited, take care of themselves, chase their goals, and finally feel like they are becoming the woman they've always dreamed of being. But here is the difference. The first woman keeps saying, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and she says, maybe Monday. Monday comes, I'll wait until next month. Next month arrives, I'll start after the holidays. I guess this sounds familiar for you, because I think we've all done that at some point. We convince ourselves that our future self will somehow be more motivated than we are today. But here is the truth. Tomorrow has a funny way of turning into next week. Next week turns into next month. And before you know it, a whole year has gone by and nothing has changed. Not because she wasn't capable, not because she wasn't smart enough, not because she wasn't worthy, simply because she never gave herself the chance to begin. Now, let's look at this second woman. She's scared too. She overthinks. She doubts herself. Some mornings she doesn't feel motivated at all. The difference is she starts anyway. Not perfectly, not confidently, she just decides, I'm going to do something today. She reads one page, she drinks one extra glass of water, she goes for a 10-minute walk, she writes one paragraph in her journal. Some days she does more, some days she does less. But one thing never changes, she keeps showing up. Even when it's messy, even when she doesn't feel like it, even when nobody noticed. Fast forward 1 year, people start seeing things like, wow, you've changed so much. You're so disciplined. I wish I had your confidence. But what they don't see is that confidence wasn't the beginning of her story. It was the result. The result of hundreds of tiny decisions that nobody else ever saw. And that's something I really want you to remember. The women we admire today were once beginners too. Can I ask you another question? Why do we wait? Seriously, why do we keep waiting? Waiting until Monday, waiting until January, waiting until life feels less busy, waiting until we're motivated, waiting until we're confident, waiting until everything feels perfect. I'll let you in on something that completely changes the way I look at growth. Most people believe motivation comes first, but one day you'll wake up feeling inspired, ready to conquer the world, ready to change your life. But honestly, how often does that actually happen? Not very often. Here is what usually happens instead. You take one small action and then motivation follows. Think about the last time you cleaned your room. Were you excited to clean? Probably not. Maybe you just picked up one shirt, then another. Then suddenly, you thought, well, I may as well finish. Before you knew it, the whole room was clean. That's how motivation works. It doesn't usually come before action. It comes because of action. Confidence works the same way. People often ask, how do I become more confident? And I wish I could give them a magical answer. But confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build. Every single time you do something you thought you couldn't do, you became a little more confident. Every promise you keep to yourself, another brick. Every challenge you face, another brick. Every uncomfortable conversation, another brick. One day, you look back and suddenly you realize you've built something strong. Not because you waited, because you started. So, let's talk about her. Who is she? I want you to do something with me. If you're somewhere safe, close your eyes for just a few seconds. Seriously, close them. Now, picture the woman you've always dreamed of becoming. Don't rush it. Really, imagine her. How does she walk into a room? Does she walk with confidence or quietly, knowing she doesn't have to prove herself to anyone? How does she speak? How does she react when life doesn't go according to plan? How does she spend her mornings? What books does she read? What kind of people does she surround herself with? How does she treat herself when she makes a mistake? Now, open your eyes. Here is the question I want to leave you with. What's stopping you from becoming a little more like her today? Not next year, not next month, today. And no, I'm not asking you to completely transform your life overnight. I'm asking you to grow one habit from your future self, just one. Because here is something I absolutely love. every decision you make is a vote. A vote for the person you're becoming. Every workout, a vote. Every page you read, a vote. Every healthy meal, a vote. Every boundary you set, a vote. Every time you choose yourself, another vote. And eventually, those votes become your identity. One day, people will say, "You're so confident. You're so disciplined. You're so inspiring." And they will never realize it all started with one teeny vote. One ordinary day, just like today. Can I tell you something I have noticed? It's actually really interesting. We spend so much admiring other women, but we almost never stop and ask ourselves why. Think about the last woman who truly inspired you. Take a second. Who was she? Maybe it was someone you follow online, maybe it was your teacher, a friend, a family member, or maybe a complete stranger who walked past one afternoon. What was it about her? Was it really her beauty, or was it something deeper? Maybe it was the way she walked into a room, not loudly, not trying to prove anything, just peacefully confident. Maybe it was the way she smiled, the way she spoke, the way she carried herself, the fact that she didn't seem desperate for everyone's approval. She simply looked comfortable being herself. And honestly, I think that's what most of us are really looking for. Not perfection, peace. Because confidence isn't loud. Confidence doesn't have to announce itself. Sometimes confidence is simply a woman who knows her worth. Even on the day she doesn't feel her best. And here is something that completely changed the way I look at comparison. Ready? I don't think we're jealous of other women as often as we think we are. I think we're grieving. We're grieving the version of ourselves we know we're capable of becoming. Let that sink in for a second, because that's a very different feeling. You're not looking at another woman thinking, "I wish I did have that." You're looking at her thinking, "I wish I believed I could become that too." There is a huge difference. One comes from hate, the other comes from hope. And I want you to remember that next time you catch yourself comparing, instead of saying, "Why can't I be here?" ask yourself, what is she showing me that's possible? Because maybe, just maybe, she crossed your path for a reason. Not to make you feel small, no, at all, but to remind you of what's possible. Maybe she isn't someone you need to compete with. Maybe she's simply proof that your dream version of yourself can exist, and honestly, I think that's beautiful. Now, can I be honest with you? Nobody really talks about these parts. Everyone loves talking about growth, glow-ups, success stories, transformation, but very few people talk about how uncomfortable it feels while it's happening. And if you've ever started changing your life, you probably know exactly what I mean. Because becoming a better version of yourself isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's confusion. Sometimes you question everything. And do you know why? Because every new version of you requires saying goodbye to an old version. The version that keeps procrastinating. The version that constantly doubts herself. The version that apologizes for taking up space. The version that settles for less than she deserves. The version that says, "Maybe I'll start tomorrow." She's familiar. And as strange as it sounds, our brains love what's familiar. Even when what's familiar is making us unhappy. Have you ever stayed in a habit? Not because you enjoyed it, but simply because it was comfortable. I know, I have. Our brains are designed to protect us. They rather keep us in a place we already know than risk stepping into something unfamiliar. Even if that unfamiliar place is where happiness is waiting. That's why growth feels scary. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're stepping outside the life your brain has gotten used to. So, if becoming her feels uncomfortable, good. that doesn't mean you're failing. It probably means you're growing. And growth has never been meant to feel comfortable. Think about a butterfly. It doesn't leave the cocoon without a struggle. But a struggle isn't a mistake. It's part of becoming what it was always meant to be. Maybe the same is true for you. Now, I want to tell you about something that happened to me not too long ago. I was sitting in an airport waiting for my flight, and like most people, I started looking around. There were hundreds of people. Some were rushing to their gates, some were laughing with friends, some looked exhausted, some were reading books. Everyone was going somewhere, and then a thought hit me. Not one of these people started their journey by magically appearing at the destination. Every single one of them had to make a decision first. They had to book the tickets, pack the suitcase, leave the house, go through security, wait at the gate, board the plane, take off. Only then did it arrive. It sounds obvious, doesn't it? But isn't life exactly the same? So many of us are standing at the gate of the life we dream about, looking at people who have already landed and wondering why we're not there yet. But we haven't booked the ticket. We haven't taken the first step. We keep staring at the destination instead of beginning the journey. And here's the thing. No one expects a plane to take off the second it reaches the runway. It needs time. It needs momentum. It needs distance before it ever leaves the ground. So, what do we expect from ourselves? What do we think one workout should completely change our body? One productive day should change our habits. One failure should define our future. That's not how growth works. Growth builds momentum. One decision, then another, until one day you realize you've left the ground. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself 5 years from now. Not the perfect version, not the version with the perfect life. Just another version of you. She's sitting across from you, she smiles, not because life has been easy, but because she kept going. Now, imagine asking her one question. What's the one thing you're most grateful I did? Do you think she'd say, thank you for waiting until everything was perfect? Probably no. Do you think she'd thank you for doubting yourself? For comparing yourself to everyone else? For putting your dreams on hold? Of course not. I think she'd look at you with so much kindness and she'd say something like, thank you for starting. Thank you for taking that first step even when you were scared. Thank you for believing in us before you had any proof it would work. Thank you for not giving up on me. And honestly, that gives me chills every time. Because the decisions you make today, they're not just changing your life. They're becoming someone else's memories. Your future self is living with the consequences of what you choose today. So make choices she'll thank you for. Not because they will always be easy, but because they are worth it. Before we finish, there is one truth I want to leave you with, and I hope you remember it whenever you feel like giving up. The woman you admire, the woman you dream of becoming, the woman you keep imagining, she isn't waiting for permission, she isn't waiting for Monday, she isn't waiting for January, she isn't waiting until she's fearless. She simply keeps showing up, again and again and again. The difference between who you are today and who you will become tomorrow isn't talent, it isn't luck, it isn't having the perfect morning routine. It's consistency, tiny actions, repeated with love, repeated with patience, repeated long enough that they slowly become part of who you are. You don't become her all at once. You become her in little moments. The moments when nobody is watching. The moments when nobody is clapping. the moments when you choose to keep going anyway. These moments are the ones that change your life. Before we end today's episode, it's time for the Becoming Her challenge. At the end of every episode, I'm going to leave you with one small challenge. Not because I want you to completely change your life overnight, but because real transformation happens through small, consistent actions. So, here is today's challenge. I want you to do one thing today that your future self will be proud of. Just one. Maybe it's drinking more water, going for a walk, reading 10 pages of a book, cleaning your room, sending the application, starting the project you've been putting off, or simply speaking to yourself with a little more kindness. It doesn't have to be impressive, it just has to be intentional. And when you do it, take a second to acknowledge it. Smile, be proud of yourself, because today wasn't about becoming perfect. It was about casting one more vote for the woman you're becoming, and trust me, those votes add up. If today's episode spoke to you in any way, I hope you'll come back next time so we can keep growing together. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, share this episode with her. Sometimes a single conversation can change the direction of someone's life. Thank you so much for spending these minutes with me. It truly means more than you know. Until next time, take care of yourself, be patient with yourself, keep choosing yourself, and most importantly, keep becoming her.